Okay, if I don't do this now, probably not going to. So this week, in channeling stuff here with me, let's see, two themes have come up: imposter syndrome and radical self-care. And imposter syndrome has been coming to mind all day. Maybe which is why it feels hard to get into this this energy. It's like imposter syndrome versus the imposters, right? Learning how to discern and tell who's who, what's what, that sort of thing. And it's just going to be tricky to talk about. So I'm starting out here with conjure cards to conjure up and flush out maybe the hidden things or the things that aren't seen. So in my brief live stream through the face crap earlier today, we ended on devious entities coming in, things wanting to stop or prevent you from having fun, basically, or doing the inner child work. And I don't know, then something funny happened and then it just kind of stopped. So we'll come back into this. Let's smudge it one more time. So as I was setting up and preparing for this one, in this conjure deck, this one came up reversed. So it's like if you make your bed, you gotta lie in it, or you gotta sleep in the bed, whatever. But this is things aren't necessarily done yet. There's still choice, chance, an opportunity to flush or start fresh. What are you? 8 spades. So it's a balance and a continuing, or continuing the fight or fighting the good fight, doing the work. Are you gonna come up? Okay. If you sleep in a strange bed, what you dream will come true. Likewise, you made your bed, you'll have to lay in it. So it's dropping bad habits, getting rid of addictions, eliminating things like that. Fresh health, fresh start, a way out and a light at the end of the tunnel. So looking for ways to get through the darker, challenging things. And okay, so for being guided to talk about imposter syndrome and those sort of things, stepping into your power, knowing self-love, finding the centering point and the balancing point in all of those things, knowing thyself. But heartaches and betrayals come to mind too. So being cautious and conscientious of that's what imposters are going to do. They're going to want to come in and betray. They're going to betray your trust. They're going to pretend to be something they're not. Whereas the imposter syndrome is not recognizing the skills and talents necessarily that you have, like a false mirror reflected back, perhaps because of an imposter in your life, or maybe there is an imposter in your life. This is the person who's trying to be you, or wants to take things and have things that are yours. But that comes out in other readings too. But again, it's the imposter part of it. Darker entities wanting to come in and manifest in the embodiment part. And I think one thing to note as far as our energy columns and things like that, if we have words are power, the thought that I no longer want my meat suit, or the suicidal ideations, because things are difficult right now. Those are skyrocketing. So people who are having difficulties accessing healthcare or receiving the help that they need. They're looking for alternative methods or looking to alternative things. So we'll be respectful and conscientious of that. Let's take a minute to clear that one out too, because if you're gonna put that out there to the entities, and you're gonna open a vortex within your solar plexus, right? So these things are gonna want to come in and look for the meat suit that they can steer or the things that they can drive. So clearing work, and what came through in the initial part of this through the little live stream, but it doesn't matter, does it? Not yet. Let's not go backwards. So if it's a church window, known as the little chapel, we'll put some clarification too, because the chapel within, or again the solar plexus and the space within. Let's see. But we're talking stained glass, beautifying things that are cracked, but capturing light and good things, protecting the shell, the home, the barrier. So then if you have the stained glass windows, they're not just there for aesthetic beauty and purposes. Oftentimes the archetypes that are ingrained within the pieces, right, serve as the energetic modality and the energetic frequency to create the protective barrier around the sacred space and around the sacred container to like a spider's web, catch all of the flies and the moths that are driving to your flame. It'll catch it in the work of the gods, the work of the archetypes, the angels, gives things over so that whatever is in between has a more sacred space. I'm rambling a little bit here. So to dream of being in a church signifies a wedding or a marriage. Likewise, to dream of seeing praying hands is fertility, children coming through, new partnerships beginning, new starts, wanting to create children for a new wave of future beings, but doing so consciously without bringing forward some of the other energetic work or some of the other things that come through. But dreams as well, thoughts become things as far as consciousness goes. Everything we are experiencing now is just a dream, whereas a dream as far as science has gotten with some more of the esoteric principles. I mean, that's kind of where we're at. But things in this material realm are so hard, right? So if you make your bed, so to speak, if you put the words out there and you have to consequences, it's basic behaviorism, antecedent behavior, consequence. You can kind of see these here, but not really. I apologize. We're going to get more of me maybe than the cards. It's okay for right now. Let's clear some of that out too. So we have smudging, clearing. You can smudge with more than just sage. I have sweetgrass. They'll probably come through with sage after all of this again. Penny grids and corners, salt around perimeters. Salts will detoxify as well. Heck, you could even slice a red onion, or open a red onion and put that out, and that's going to absorb some of the the bacterias and germs and things within the air. Don't eat it afterwards because it'll make you sick. You can throw it out, but if you leave it out for a couple of days, it'll help to suction in some of those, or light candles to draw things in. But again, think keep things protected. Where But it's 6, so it's love, so it's protecting things in that way. But this one is cedar. And cedar can be used to smudge and cleanse as well. But we're getting into dream space again as far as the book goes with an interpretation. So to dream of a cedar tree predicts success in business or whatever undertaking you go through. Otherwise, it's failed attempts, stagnation, no movement or journey. But again, things aren't quite what they seem. So literal movement doesn't necessarily translate to energetic movement. That can translate, or within its inversion, would be stagnation in a spiritual realm by doing too much work on this way, or being cautious of bonds and things, but bringing things together, not wanting to step into union because of imposter syndromes, or not feeling well enough, or that thought of like somebody could be harmed, or maybe there's like secrets or things that haven't been exposed yet. But as far as the intention for the other cards, we'll carry that forward here too. And there are any secrets out there, if anything needs to be uncovered, things will be exposed, and it may be difficult for a little while, but it's part of the cleansing aspect. Let's look at the 8 diamonds, because it's continuing the currency, right? The energetic currency and the energetic exchange. And then even with money is another token that carries the intention of that energetic exchange. That's why we call it currency. So being mindful of where you're receiving funds from, putting up appropriate boundaries, or if somebody says they don't want to contribute to something of yours, ask yourself whether or not you'd want this person's energy contributing into your space, if there's a hypocrisy or something. So being mindful again of the imposters, or people trying to bribe, pay off, or how am I going to put it, like misdirect you. I mean, it's bribery. Point blank, it's bribery or coercion. And then if we're going to go into the realm of coercion within business, then we're getting into the realm of illegal territory. So being conscientious of that. But if you're feeling the imposter syndrome yourself, then you have to get into this space where you have to show up and get over it, and then get to this aspect of life purpose and doing the life purpose work and showing up despite all of the naysayers, or the questions, or the insecurities that come up from the doubts. Oh, it's funny because daydream is under here too. Daydream, all coming up in perfect timing. But daydreams are dreams as well, but dreams contain archetypes, or it might require putting yourself in a new environment, or taking a risk of being in new surroundings, like getting out of the stagnant sleeping inner journey for like subconscious exploration, but it involves a novelty and stimulus, again, like a new antecedent, so something would have to come before. Sorry if that gets a little confusing. But chest, heart chakra stuff, but it's diamonds. Treasure hunting has long been a tradition in the country, whether you're just hunting small trinkets or rumored gold with a dowsing rod. Rightfully, the 8 of diamonds foretells more money than the 6 of diamonds. But if we come up this way, then we're talking about loss, gossip, idle talk, imposters, right? Creating false illusions or realms around that, and that's where it can get difficult, because then we start getting into the third party territory. That's where I'm going within the CETA's project this year. It's another initiative that I run, Sex and the Art Scene for Sexual Assault Awareness. This is the 4th year of it, but this year we're going to go into talking about the third party aspects that play into the the victim perpetrator or the perpetrator survivor mentality. We can put something outside of that, but there's like the enabling energies, or like the system, right, that continues to feed the beast and continues to feed the monster. So learning how to look beyond these in different ways. Let's see. In regards to secrets again, this would signify that someone has loose lips. Not every ear should be confided in. So if you're telling my secrets, I know it. If you're walking with false intention, I know it. If there's a shift, like in triangulation within these relationships, like if you have an imposter coming in, usually within like this two-party situation, right, there's like a I'm sorry, the blocks and stuff, it's loud. I wish I had my bell. We're gonna clear some more. Because the hater talk, right? You know it and you feel it. But again, it's the boomerang energy, and then putting up the shields and the energetic bubbles, creating the pictures, doing the work in the subconscious space in order to move things forward. Wow, that's funny. Okay, let's go to this one, because it's almost like a game of chess or balance. I read it as checkers, but a game, or watching the next moves, or looking for who wants to take your pieces. Unfortunately, there's a lot of devious energy out there, and so if we're going into like the realm of the collective for devious energy, it's going to show up in a lot of different ways. Okay, so this is a quilt square. So it's integrating and bringing together a bunch of different pieces as well. And so if you're creating something new and you're not sure where it fits in, that's where you might be feeling the imposter syndrome as well. Let's see. Okay, so the quilt has been a staple of the mountain home for centuries. Here the square is patterned after the coffin star, and the star and crown square denoting sickness and disease. The corpse card not only shows possible illness, but it can also tell to let go of the past or bury the hatchet. Reversed represents mental or emotional health concerns instead of physical. Refer to surrounding cards. So we're looking at like emotional health as it pertains to the energetic frequencies and balances. Impostering, or like imposter, like posturing. When I did behavioral therapies, some of our clients, what we would mark down as far as problem behaviors would be posturing. And so like a posture could be a threat of violence as well. And you can see it in abusive situations, anything where it looks like somebody's about to strike or about to make a move, or like if they're setting their guards. I mean, even like making a fist, like clenching your teeth, leaning in, all of this is posturing. I mean, it can look non-violent as well, like a security guard, or somebody posturing as a security guard, or as like a what's the word I'm looking for? Not necessarily like a liaison, but I don't know, kind of like a gatekeeper. Somebody posing as a gatekeeper. I mean, it's a point of posturing. I mean, it could be like a conflict or an aggressive move, or like emotional things, not necessarily in alignment are back to back, but there's some interesting hearts into play. This is such a strange deck. It creeps me out. I might pull. What came through for this one earlier? Okay, so I have angels to one side, trees in the middle, and the cards, these conjure cards on the other side of it. So in Tree of Life and preparing for all of this, it's flying off the table. Moonlight comes up. So moonlight for the Tree of Life, becoming aware of light and shadow, and that was an aspect of the other one too, looking at both sides of things in order to bring things together. But this is about the shadow aspects coming up, or the hidden things, right, coming forward. Magnetism, alchemy, bringing things in so we can change them. But being aware of illusions, deception, ignorance, misguided thought, mistaken impressions. People putting on a show. It's like that, like the Hollywood Hangover almost, right? Where we get drunk off of these like superstars, or like get drunk off this concept or notion of fame or being seen, or especially like in the realm of the creatives, within the Hollywood hangover, there's an energetic hangover that comes through by consuming vibrations and frequencies that aren't necessarily in alignment with higher good, or could have alternative intentions. But again, what the ego does to pull things forward. Guides are chatterboxing. I can feel my channel like woo, kind of opening a bit here. So, yeah, if I start trancing in and pulling out some other things, we'll see. Because I feel like when it comes to imposter stuff, there's just so much to talk about, or there's a lot of things wanting to talk about, to point it out, bring out the imposters, speak up about the imposters, but not enabling them either, because there's a tolerance for it. Because to call out the people, I mean, you see it and then you allow it, or you know something, but you're receiving, it's like receiving shut up money or something like that, or if there's some sort of the clout chasing, receiving the benefit for that. I understand what that means. I'm beginning to understand more about what that is. The crab buckets, they become cannibals too. I mean, if you throw all the crabs into the bucket and they're going to climb on top of each other trying to get out, but nobody's going to get out, they're going to keep pulling each other back in, trying to climb on top of each other trying to get out. That whole like energetic cycle. So breaking the mold and breaking the chain. We're talking Jack of Hearts, a bass fish, wealth and fertility again. If this isn't like a new child, or like childlike energy coming through, because in the other one too, we started out on innocence. I mean, she's got a baby in her hands. And then even the one that I pulled out, shifting in here as far as our angels, we're talking about change of direction, but there's like babies in there. So, I don't know, somebody wants a baby. Or somebody's acting like a baby. That's the other part of it too. That's okay, so like within the work, like the sexual advocacy work that I do, one of the common themes that I think that ties all of this together, gets into that white male fragility, toxic ego, the entitlement, the throwing the temper tantrum, the ones that are looking for like the mommies to come along and do all of the things or whatever, the men who have mommy issues that they haven't resolved or that they've been carrying with them through decades and decades and decades. Throwing the big fits when they don't get their ways or acting like children. Being big babies for not being able to get what they want. Let's talk about a little bit about what they want. What are we gonna use? Deck. I don't think I'm gonna dive into too many other decks here. What are we talking about? What do we want? Getting over the baby mode, but doing the inner child work. Looking ahead to summer. Roots. Looking into clearing the roots. The hollow spaces within, clearing the homes, clearing the channels. Do we go into the Aquarian? Okay, we'll go into Aquarian. We'll clarify some of these different aspects. So I think, let's stay on topic. Let's stay on the theme of imposters and imposter syndrome. So let's do 3 about imposter syndrome first. Okay. No, I don't know. 2 of Rods, new beginnings, looking ahead. Again, thoughts become things, but staying in the sun, out in the sun. Keeping safe at night. Like, don't burn that light too bright at night. We'll keep that for imposter syndrome. Maybe just kind of as our guide here as everything's jumping out. Holy cow! Okay, so like lovers and new home life, bringing things together, unification, wanting all of these things, new babies. I don't know, maybe somebody is going to start a new relationship, bringing different aspects together, or there's something preventing new relationships from coming through the sun or darkness, kind of clouds, carrying big burdens, but needing to let down those big burdens so that you can move forward to do a lot of these things. But there's I don't know, you gotta lighten the load. Let's keep going here. Aquarian. Let's kind of come back to this quilt and bring some of the pieces together. So I think when we're talking about conjuring, we're going to bring out the imposters and the imposter syndrome, because you don't want somebody to come along either, like the love bombing. Beware of love bombing. It may look great from the outside, but again, people have alternative hidden thoughts. Let's stick those guys over there. I guess you can see them if I go here. Okay, so let's bring out some for the imposters then. Okay. People more focused on money and power. People who like to play into conflict or create conflict, or if you're around somebody and you feel that inner conflict coming about, but you're not sure what's going on, maybe. Somebody who's always on guard and very protective of the material side of things, or people who don't disclose a lot of information, who could be hiding something as well. A couple more. 30 minutes into this. And this is like dense, heavy energy. I don't know that there's so much to talk about as I thought. Well, okay, hold on. We can pull that one off to the side, because we're balancing things out here. Again, the current. finding the currency within the energies, being able to do the work, discerning. Because you kind of have to pick one or the other. You can't have your cake or eat or two. All those, like, silly little nuanced sayings, I mean, they really do hold a lot of deeper meaning. What do we have on top here? Okay, so, like, back to the conjure deck. Let's talk about the people in power, the imposters, or the imposter syndrome. Because you either have to, like, step into your bear power or, like, beware the bear. But bears are one of those that have a lot of different connotations. This deck freaks me out. I don't use it too often. Black bear. So in the Cherokee mythos, the bear was generally chief of all the animals in the mountains. He knew the medicines for everything and kept store of them. Represents King of Diamonds, older, graying man who can have a violent temper when provoked to that point. Head of the suit represents, let's see, suit of money, represents bank, store of finances. Actions and places will be determined by the company and the cards he keeps. So that shall, pardon me. The imposters, discerning the imposters by the company they keep as well. They're surrounded by people pleasers, or like the flying monkeys, or like the harems, or if they tend to like collect similar type of people or something like that, that can be an imposter as well, because they're trying to create like a facade or a shield. Or if there are people in your environment who are purposely and intentionally coming in and trying to dissuade you or like demotivate you, make you self-conscious in some sort of way, you can cut them out. Nothing's gonna stop you in that aspect of it. Okay, we'll pull a couple more from here and then maybe we'll clarify them again with the Aquarian. Do I want to look back into the trees? Oh, elders, some picking up the pieces, falling in love with an older man, but not that much older. Somebody slightly more mature, maybe a generation ahead. At least picturing family, wanting family, seeing family, maturing families. This is about imposters, so how do we get out of the imposter mindset? As a coach, a counselor, I mean, it's practice. It's exposure therapy, right? You just do it. You turn off your brain and you just show up and you just do it. Because if you overthink it and overthink it and overthink it, it's not going to happen. And kings again, right? Looking for the kings. A lot of king energy here, like imposters and imposter syndrome, and maybe it's like a fight for a kingdom, or looking at what the kingdoms are. It's not necessarily everybody who's in a position of power got there by right or by birthright. We can see that in some of the political turmoil right now. Like if you pull back your forces, or if you drop somebody who's weaker, like drop your protections of there for whatever perceived ego motive, or if something is clouding your judgment and you're doing that, then you'll get like an evil force takeover, where it doesn't take too many of them to come in. It just takes pulling the right protections off, in order to welcome, or just again the right words. So be very mindful and cautious of the words that you're using. Because it's hearts and protecting the hearts. Let's see. Ace, King, King of Hearts. I don't even know if any of this makes sense. But it's male energy. Again, graying man. Somewhat graying. Male clients, men especially, might want to tune in. Let's see. So men, or if you're male, are kind of align with that energy. Okay, let's see. It's like all of this, like my own, like, personal stuff and love life stuff wanting to come out and come forward. And just some of those, but like, leadership. So what is it that I'm feeling like an imposter about? I came into, the conflict of the imposter syndrome, or awareness of it, like at the beginning of my PhD program a couple of years ago, and I just remember sitting in like one of the big rooms with a group of people during not like a meet and greet, but one of like the introductory sessions, and the group that I was in, a lot of women in color doing PhD work and research and studies in some pretty progressive things. Some men, but I mean, these are like people from all around the world, kind of different parts of the US, and coming into this space and just feeling like an imposter, like I didn't belong there. Just not my time. But then perfect timing came up in this one too, or like the excuses that we made, or when we elevate people or want to put them ahead of ourselves, for seeing ourselves as less than or not capable of doing, or just not feeling good enough. Like what is that about? I know, like with my own stuff, like I can pinpoint like the early childhood stuff, or the certain people who have said the certain things at whatever times that have still affected me long after, right? Or just like these social expectations, especially for women, and kind of men too, because there's social expectations of what you're supposed to do and how things are supposed to look. But as we're shifting gears, or kind of migrating to different sides and getting other perspectives, you just kind of have to trust it and show up and do the work. But the way that the collective is shifting to now is perfect timing, because again, okay, what was the thought from earlier in the other video? Oh yeah, like this concept of new norm is has been programmed into our subconscious long enough over the last couple of years that I think people are more open and receptive now to having these sort of conversations, or ready to make these big changes and these big shifts, just because of the collective timing. I mean, everything, it's like a grand detox. Like everything's kind of being shook up. So like as the dust settles and the gold bits and the gold pieces are left over, we can synthesize that, and we can create tools. We can create I don't know, things of beauty maybe come to mind, but like a more clear energy conduct, as we conduct our energy moving forward. But it's going to look different. Okay, so Queen of Clubs, geese, a dark featured woman, likely a mother or a nurse, helpful and gives good advice when needed. Be best to listen to her, much like a goose. She's gotten around as she's seen some things. I know what I'm talking about. This all kind of seems a bit kooky, I'm sure. And as far as like a shell or like a book not necessarily suiting its cover, this might be a good example of that. Only 7 in diamonds again. A fallen chair in a wash bin. All these old sayings, okay? Is that the correct direction? An old saying goes that if your chair falls as you get up to leave a table, it's a sign you've told a lie while sitting there. Okay, imposters. What goes around comes around. So if you've told a lie, eventually it'll come out, but it'll come out in these subtle ways. So pay attention to your environment and these little nuances, because things will show you who is who and who, like what's what, but it takes time. This card shows lies and deceit. If paired with a jack, it shows happiness and possibly money. Oh, we've got a jack down here. I mean, so it could be good things coming through, or truth being revealed, cleaning out lies. Just like cleaning up home, watching money, watching where money's going, watching where that currency is being channeled into. If it comes back blessed and multiplied. And we're talking luck, twos, 2 hearts, 2 diamonds, 22, the year of 22. I wanted to do this like 22 Tuesdays thing and just do this on Tuesdays, but the more I dive into this, the more I see why we're just going to show up when we're called to show up, and the frequency will increase. I don't want those. I want, where are you? Are we going to do diamonds first or hearts first? Let's do diamonds first. Clover and pennies. Again, penny grids. Finding lucky charms. I mean, even if they're like subtle nuances, penny or bust. What is the word? It doesn't matter. We're not going to call that energy into the space because it doesn't matter. All good luck. I mean, it's just good luck. If it comes up the other way, it's gossip abounding. Outside of the gossip and the gossiping energies, that's what imposters will do. They'll just go and spread the gossip. They'll spread the lies, but at the same time, like kind of like the disease, or kind of like butter. If it's being spread, it can be caught, but if it's contained, you can't see it. So 2 hearts. Hearts. Where are you, hearts? Oh, this deck is so bizarre. Horseshoe. Card of the lovers again, and lovers came out. Family stuff, deep relationships, separations as well. Fights coming through. I don't know. You can have love if you want it. This 3 of hearts this one came out earlier too, but then my phone went out. So maybe we'll end on this one and we'll pull a couple out of the Aquarian and then we'll call it. Gotta find my bell. I think after this we're gonna go cleanse in some water. At least put my feet in some hot water. Banjo. Short time, 2 or 3 hours, days. The banjo and whiskey bottle foretells your cup running over. Oh, good. So if you want to invest in my Cetus project, I'm looking for investors, please and thank you. The little sparrow can mean that someone wishes to speak with you, or that wrongs will be righted. There's a danger in loneliness. Don't allow your spouse, like your spouse to get there. Don't allow your spouse to get lonely. Well, that's funny because how do you know? How you have to let them know that the door's open. Okay, that's done, and then what? Just avoiding bad habits and God, avoiding alcohol. No alcohol right now. 2 weeks? Like until the new moon, I guess. Maybe. I don't know why that sounds important or seems important. Love wishes, love coming knocking on your door. Geez, there's all kinds of love in my energy. I wanted to come in and talk about imposters, and it's just like love. Love is on my mind. Okay. Let's put these conjure cards over there. Am I trying to conjure up love? Maybe. Conjuring up love, new beginnings, new home life, beautiful things, new starts, new beginnings. Thoughts become things. I mean, even in terms of communities and bringing together communities, bridging gaps. New missions, realizing the heartaches. I mean, if there's anything preventing you from doing any of this, I mean, it's this. How many times do you hear people say, past love conditions will, taint or influence that of the future, that sort of thing. So you gotta get over a lot of that, but gotta get over betrayals, not listening to other people and what they're saying. Don't look too far back. Bringing together, unifying other things, bringing other sides together. New thing. Okay, let's. Meet imposters with love. It's just, I mean, it's showing up all over the place. Love, 10 cups, happiness, all this good stuff. The Fool card was in the other one too. New beginnings and fresh starts. Not being afraid to have fun and play and filling into all the lucky stuff. Oh, I know the dog says, oh, is it over yet? I think so. I think we're at the end of it. The world is your oyster. Things can come up. I think at the end of one of the last cards, or the last reading I did this way too. The same thing, like the world at the end. One more from our angels. Leaves, twigs, picking up the pieces. Okay. Yeah, we'll pick up one more. Set an intention. I do private readings. You can reach out to me. Acceptance, radical acceptance. Okay, so radical acceptance. We'll go into radical self-reliance next time. Imposters. Finding the love within. Love yourself from within. Be honest with yourself. You know whether or not you're faking it. You know whether or not you're pretending to be somebody or not. Good or bad. I mean, what's kind of the same thing between the imposter and the person with the imposter syndrome is they're both not being honest with themselves. One perceives themselves as better than, and one perceives themselves as not as good as. Releasing and surrendering. Let's do one more. We'll call it. I'm tired. Relationship. Okay. So relationships. Your primary relationship is with yourself and God, and every other relationship follows from there. To attract, heal, or balance a relationship, then snuggle more closely with your loving Creator. As you feel safe and loved within, so shall your other relationships bloom and prosper. Joy came out in one of the other ones as well, right? So you can keep it within to yourself. You can play and have fun kind of in your own mind. You can do it in your own way. You can make games kind of at a silly mundane things that nobody else really has to be conscientious of, and it'll shift your vibration to that of a space of joy and energy, something that will attract in, because again, everything is all in perfect timing. Okay,